Hello YouTube, welcome back to Nutkin Farm. It's block 2 here, one of my oldest blocks on the property, and it's looking like a bit of a wilderness at the moment, but it's about to be prepared by my contracts for harvesting, as some of the rows of the block do have some nuts on them. And while they're up in the top of the trees and neither you nor I can see them from here, traditionally the lower rows of block 2 here have done well. Now at the base of the trees, what you can see, this white stuff, is the remains of the lime that was spread just over a week ago. Turns out the timing was great. We had some rain and most of the lime that you see on the soil has been gently washed in. No real signs of it being washed away, because I've seen a couple of the sort of water channels and there's certainly no lime in there. So for once, timing was right, and that was great. Speaking of timing, obviously, my recent videos have been devoted to the catastrophic record low prices of macadamias and what people can do about them. And this video is devoted to one of my long-term subscribers, Trent Newman. Hi, Trent. He's been a regular commenter on my videos, and he works for one of Australia's largest macadamia farms, also he says, up in the Bundaberg area. And his suggestion on my last video was similar to sort of things I've been discussing with Bruce Chester and others about what farmers can do in a low price environment. And one thing you can do, of course, is not spend a cent on your orchard, because it's not giving you a cent back. And look, it's entirely understandable that you might want to do that. Everyone wants a return on their investment. But there are longer term views you can take as well, and that is that some orchards need rehab in order to perform adequately. And we know that when the price for macadamias does recover, we'll want every nut we can get out of these trees. But the recovering price might not get back to the lofty highs of $6 a kilo that we were enjoying back in 2021. So, it's a good time, while the trees aren't producing a valuable crop, to do work on them. And the reason I'm in this block is that it's a perfect example of a block that does need work. Tall trees, big central leaders climbing up to the sky, trees competing with each other for sunlight, where, if they were all a bit shorter, they'd get just as much sunlight and be able to provide the ground with a bit of sunlight too, which would allow ground cover to come back and cover the ground, not just in places like here where you see a gap in all the trees and the weeds spring up. So given the general rule, which is, when you chop down a Hawaiian tree like this 344, when you chop it down to size, it sulks for a while. It spends all its energy trying to put growth back on, because it's been wounded, and its natural reaction is to recover its position. But over time, with selective limb removal, you do get to a position where the trees will stay down and put out sideways growth and keep to a reasonable height. That's the best way to restore your production, particularly for these 344 trees, where if conditions aren't ideal, they really punish you. They perform very badly indeed. And so there's work to be done. And if it's going to sulk for a few years recovering, then what better time to do that than when macadamia prices are low? And that, of course, was Trent's point, and my point in interviewing a couple of others. But there's another dimension that I'd like farmers to consider in particular, and those especially for whom macadamias is a secondary source of income. One of the problems with getting work done on your farm, if you're a pit street farmer or a part-time farmer like me, is getting skilled resources to do the work on your orchard. It was so hard to get anyone in the price boom It was equally hard during COVID. Here in the northern rivers of New South Wales, it was harder again when the Lismore floods hit, and a lot of the junior employees who lived in the Lismore flood zone basically moved out of the area, taking a huge resource in people away from the macadamia growing district. And of course, you know, when macadamia prices are $6, all the farmers are generally busy making lots of money on their own farms. But when the prices drop, what you'll find is that the owner-operator farmers who don't have a valuable resource in nuts to sell still have a very valuable resource in their knowledge, their skill and their manpower in terms of their ability to look after other people's farms and bring in some income for themselves that way. And I was prompted to make this video because two very experienced owner-operators, who I won't name at the moment, have volunteered to assist me in getting my canopy down. They know exactly where to prune a tree. They know how to saw it down. They know how to do it safely. They even know how to chip it up and deliver the chip to the base of the tree to cover up root exposure. Now, these are the resources that you can never get when it's a boom time. And if you're doing macadamias as a secondary form of income and you're able to use your primary form of income to fund that rehabilitation, now is, for that reason as well, the perfect time to do this, because you can get access to great minds, great bodies, great resources who know what is good for an orchard because they've done it themselves for decades, and they're prepared to do that to your orchard so that they can earn some income while we're all waiting for this price crisis to recover. So where you were previously investigating orchard rehabilitation but couldn't find anyone to do it, have another look. Pick up the phone again and ring the people who were previously unavailable. You might be surprised at the difference in the answer that you get, because here is a chance for the macadamia farmers of different persuasions to actually pull together and get a win-win out of this. It does require you taking a long-term view, and of course there's always the niggling question in the back of your mind: will macadamia prices ever recover? And the answer to that is a definite yes in my view, but it may not ever recover to the sort of $6 a kilo level where orchards like this could quite easily turn a profit. You're going to need to make your orchard more competitive, more productive. You know, the trees in older blocks are going to have to be shorter, bushier, and putting on new fruiting wood in time for when the price next goes up. And with the resources available in the existing owner-operators, with their machinery available and their people available, now is in fact a rich opportunity to rejuvenate your asset rather than spend nothing on it. If you spend nothing on it and just wait for the next price boom, you'll find your orchard in a really poor position to take advantage of it. So it's a good idea to get work done that needs doing. All right, guys, that's my last update for a little while. When you next see this block, it'll be looking spick and span and mulched and ready for harvest. And then it's a question of how many nuts will fall, and I'll keep you up to date with another video on that. Have a lovely day, whatever it is you're doing, and I'll see you soon. Bye.